I'm assuming we're all four of you here for at least the last segment, so you basically know the rules. Keep things positive. 2-minute introduction, 1 minute to answer each question. We're going to rotate just like we've done, same format. And any questions? You're all good? We're going to do something a little bit unusual. We have one candidate that could not make it, so Phil is going to read their opening statement. We'll just let her have a closing statement as well. So here you go.
So this is an opening statement that was presented to us from Karen Oxandabor. Good evening. I'm sorry I cannot be there tonight to participate in the Lighthouse Project 2014 Candidate Forum. The Lighthouse Project is an important part of our community, and I have been following their positive work since their inception. My name is Karen Oxandabor, and I'm seeking re-election to the Big Bear City Community Service District Board. I have served as a board member since being elected in 2012. Prior to that, I was an employee of the CSD for almost 23 years and appointed by the CSD board in 2011. As a Valley resident for more than 40 years, it's amazing to me that some people don't know what the Big Bear City Community Service Board is. So briefly, the CSD is a multi-service agency that consists of overlapping fire, water, sewer, solid waste service areas. The CSD is responsible for more than 20 square miles, consisting of more than 16,000 customers, of which one or more of these services are provided. CSD is responsible for a lot of important services. Having a basic understanding of how the district operates and works with its property owners is critical to the district running smoothly and efficiently. That understanding is vital, as our district is facing numerous issues that take leadership and expertise. Our district, and our state for that matter, is undergoing unprecedented drought. We must look for new water management strategies to continue to deliver water reliably to our customers. These strategies may include reuse, conservation, or new technologies. As someone who has intimate experience working on water safety, reliability, and delivery for almost 30 years, I can deliver the know-how and practical decision-making experience that is needed in this area. Our district is in the process of consolidation of the fire services with Big Bear Lake Fire Department into a fire authority. Consolidation makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't come without questions or concerns, particularly in regards to improved services levels. I've monitored consolidation efforts across the state, the underlying factor whether the leadership to ensure that nothing falls through the cracks. Now we'll allow the other gentlemen to make their opening statements. Elroy, if you would like to start, please.
Good evening. My name is Elroy Reimnitz. My wife and I are newcomers to this community. We live at 441 East Mountain View Boulevard in Big Bear City. My wife and I want to become active members of this community, and that's why I have decided to run for the CSD board. We're very happy to be part of Big Bear Valley. I'm presently teaching as an adjunct professor at Concordia Seminary in Irvine. I bring a wealth of professional experiences as well as years of service provided to the communities I lived in Nebraska for 8 years, and later in Ventura County for the last 28 years before moving to Big Bear City. If elected, I will always serve the needs of the community and be open to concerns, suggestions, as well as complaints by this community. As a resident now of this community myself, even though short, I'm very concerned about the drought we are experiencing during the last 3 years, as well as the preparedness by the fire department in the event we would have a big fire in our area. These two concerns would be a top priority if I were to be elected to the CSD board. To sum it up, if elected, I will always listen to all of the information and the facts before making a decision as a board member. I want to represent the needs of the community and make sure that we are serving the needs of the community as a public agency. I'm available after the meeting for those of you who want a copy of my bio with my professional experiences and the services I have provided in the past.
Thank you very much. John Green, please.
I went to seminary.
My name is John Green. I'm running for re-election to the CSD board. I have lived here in Big Bear for over 36 years. My beautiful wife Stacy and I have raised our 5 children here in Big Bear. We have 4 daughters, Sarah, Marie, Rachel, Katrina, and a son, Tommy. I've always believed in the importance of giving back to your community. When our children were younger, I coached youth soccer, basketball, and was involved with Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. I've been asked many times over the last 4 years why we want to be involved and serve again. This quote from Winston Churchill sums up my feelings pretty well. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Over the last 4 years, I have served as president of the CSD Board of Directors, director at Big Bear Area Regional Wastewater Agency, and as chairman of the board of the newly formed Big Bear Fire Authority. Big Bear City CSD provides sewer services to 11,786 residential customers, 200 businesses with over 116 miles of sewer main lines. Water services has 613 service connections, 4 reservoirs with 6 million and a quarter gallon capacity, 81 miles of main lines, 418 fire hydrants. Solid waste serves over 11,000 residents. For trash and recyclables, CSD ambulance service provides service to the entire valley through the fire department. I have worked for San Bernardino County Special District's Water and Sanitation Division for the last 11 years. Before that, I was a business owner of a manufacturing business with machine shops in Corona and Riverside. Besides having been a longtime resident who understands the needs of the community, I believe my experience working in the water and sanitation field and having been a business owner makes me uniquely qualified to serve on the CSD board. Thank you. Vote green.
Al Ziegler, please.
My name is Al Ziegler. I'm a candidate for the Community Service District Board of Directors. I'm a 41-year mountain resident and business owner. I've attended 90% of all the committees and board meetings since 1990. So this shows my interest in our community. I have the history and knowledge of all of the departments involved and how they function. I am prepared to hit the ground running when elected to this board. I'm supported by the Big Bear Professional Firefighters Association and the CSD Employees Association since 2014. The only thing I forgot to tell you here is the fact that my wife and I came here in 1974. We raised 3 beautiful girls, and to this day we still have 2 here and 1 up in Mount Shasta. I thank you very much.
Rob.
Thanks. First, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and listening. For me, anyone that can listen to politicians talk for 3 hours, that's like hiking up Castle Rock barefoot. It's painful. I'm Rob Robbins, former businessman, university professor at Cal State Fullerton. I'm a father and grandfather. There are 3 reasons to vote for me: experience, my education, and ethics. Experience, I was in industrial real estate for many, many years, and I worked with manufacturers and helped them interface with organizations that provided fire, water, trash, and sewer. My education, I earned an MBA degree from USC, and I understand financial statements. And it's imperative, I think, that a person on this board understand financial statements and operating procedures. And I do through my various positions as well. Ethics, when you shake my hand, we have a deal. And I view my role as a director, or hope to be a director, as representing the residents of our district and the CSD employees in a fair and intelligent manner. The state of Iowa once paid me to think and to solve a problem for them, which I did. And I would bring that same type of energy and diligence to the CSD. I think we should examine cost-cutting measures such as reducing legal fees, solar power, perhaps truck logistics. Also, I love this community. I have volunteered for the hospital, cats, old miners, and others. I was one of 4 people that served on the successful Measure F campaign for the hospital.
Thank you, Rob. Oh, my apologies. I didn't see your hand, Jack. My apologies. Go ahead, Rob.
Where was I? As I said, one of 4 people, we had many volunteers, but one of 4 people on the strategy committee that successfully passed Measure F. I live here full-time, I have no mortgage on my house, I'm healthy, and I'm not going anywhere.
Thank you. We'll begin the questions now. We'll start with Elroy will have the opportunity to answer this first question, and then each of you will have a chance to answer one of these questions. Begin. Elroy, with the Big Bear Fire Agency continuing to evolve, what is your opinion as to what form it should take in the future?
Good question. I actually had a meeting with a rep from the fire department not too long ago and explained to me what is being done and what's happening. I would like to see the 2 departments, Big Bear Lake and Big Bear City, become one department under one fire chief. I know there is one fire chief right now taking care of both of them, but it would be nice because then they could have training together, have the same procedures when there is a fire. Right now they have different procedures and how to tackle the fire, and I think it's very important that they are together on the same page and do the same procedure when they take care of a situation.
John?
I believe we have the need for a valley-wide fire agency. Keeping control local is the key component. If you let control go out of the valley, then you have agencies outside of the valley making decisions for us and determining where best our assets are utilized. I believe those decisions need to stay within the valley. We've made great progress. This has been an ongoing project for over 30 years. The atmosphere to create one agency is now better than it's ever been, and I'd like to say I'm very proud to be part of the progress that we've made so far.
Al?
I'm very sorry, but my right ear didn't hear the question, please.
With the Big Bear Fire Agency continuing to evolve, what is your opinion as to what form it should take in the future?
Well, I've got to agree completely with John here. They're on the right track. We've gone as far as we've ever gone before because there's been a number of people working on this for many, many years. I like the idea of what we're doing. I can see in the long pole where we need to be, and I support our people on the JPA and what they've accomplished up to this time. I have attended a number of the JPA meetings, and it's amazing where you've got 10 people sitting there, how they've got along so well. So I really got to take my hat off to the JPA board, which is 5 of our city councilmen and 5 of our CSD board members. I believe because of the many, many years that some of these people have been present in the valley, they've led this JPA in the right direction. Thank you very much.
Rob?
I'm in favor of a valley-wide fire consolidation because I believe it'll result in cost savings and better service.
Okay, we'll start this question with John, please. With our state in a drought, what does the water supply future look like for CSD?
Currently, we're setting restrictions and stage 1 restrictions before they're required. We're trying to stay ahead of the curve. We're coming up with strategies. We're coming up with responses to upcoming mandates. We're trying to stay ahead of this. The construction water meters have been suspended temporarily unless things get better. We're looking into alternate supplies for water for construction at this time. We've been in meetings with Barwa to see about using disinfected water for construction meters. At this time, I believe the DWP is still issuing construction meters, but if the drought continues, that will stop too. So we need to be thinking ahead and stay ahead of the problem.
Hal?
Well, we've got to agree with everything that John said. The bottom line is I have been active so long, so many years, and attended so many meetings, and I know where we are, and I know why we're here. I know back a few years back there's a certain few things not CSD should have done, but someone else. But where we are, I believe we have control of it, and we'll be drilling another well. We'll start this year and end it next year. I'm not as concerned about it right this second, but in the long pull, we better pay attention to what we're doing because we're in deep trouble. You have to remember, all of our water comes from the heavens here, and we can't reach to the California Aqueduct. We can't reach anywhere. We can only accomplish our problem by taking good care of our systems. Thank God we got a good partner over there with DWP, and at that point, thank you.
Rob, please.
As everyone knows, this is a statewide problem. It's not specific to the CSD. I have attended the meetings, and I do know that the staff and CSD are all working diligently to make sure that we're prepared in any event on whether we get lots of snow or very little snow again. So everything is being done as possible, but there's no silver bullet for this, again, as we all know. But I'm confident that the CSD, the staff, and their experts will get us through this. Thank you.
Bring the mic down to Elroy, please. Elroy hasn't had a chance to deal with this question.
I don't have all the information that John has, obviously, but as a newcomer in Ventura County, the city of Thousand Oaks, Ventura County, has emphasized the need to conserve water, not to water your lawn, not to use the driveway or wash your car, and I think that's something that we need to look at as well, in addition to all the information that John already gave to you as a member of the board. So that would be my response, conservation, conservation.
Okay, this question will start with Al. If elected, what would you bring to the board that would be different than the other candidates?
Well, I've been attending these board meetings since 1980. And when I look in the audience, I see one of our former board members, Pat Miller. I think her and I is about the only one left out of the original bunch. But when it comes to CSD, all of our different departments, our employees, they're really the greatest. They're on the track. The thing that I could bring probably that's more needed than anything is the knowledge that I have of the many, many years that I've served in the audience. I've been on every committee you can ever imagine. I attend all the finance committee meetings. I happen to know where the trash department is and where Donna's office is. And so I believe the knowledge that I have is what this community needs. So if I'm fortunate enough to be elected to this board, I feel that I can bring a tremendous amount of knowledge and lead us in a different direction to a certain extent, but basically we're in good shape.
Rob, please.
Could you give me the question again, please?
If elected, what would you bring to the board that would be different than the other candidates?
The three things that I bring that would be different would be my business experience, my financial education, and ethics in that I'm not beholden to any group or any person. You will get a fair and honest vote for me every time.
I don't think I would bring anything different from any other board member. I can only bring my experience. I served on our homeowners association in Newberry Park in Ventura County for 25 years out of 28 years. We managed a budget of $1 million. We had to manage 481 units. I still own the home there. I'm still concerned about it. I would bring a lot of the experience also from a financial managerial point of view. So if you look at my bio after the meeting, you can tell that I have the experience. I also served on the Traffic and Transportation Commission of the City of Thousand Oaks, and I also learned a lot through the budgetary process and the fiscal responsibility that we had to the community.
John, please.
Not only do I bring the experience of working in the water and sanitation field, but I work on the ground level. I get dirty. I understand what it takes to get the job done. I have that perspective as well. Not only do I sit on the management side at CSD when we do labor negotiations at the county, I'm a labor representative. I know both sides of that issue. I know the concerns of the employees. I know the concerns of management. I understand what it takes to get the job done, but I also understand that it has to be done within the constraints of a budget. These are difficult decisions to make sometimes. Sometimes they affect employees, sometimes they affect the budget. What we have to keep in perspective is long-term plans. Where are we going to be in 10 years? Where are we going to be in 20 years? Where are we going to be in 30 years? If we just think about tomorrow, we've lost the game already.
Rob will have the opportunity to answer this question first. Do you feel the East Valley should consider incorporation either on its own or by annexation to the city of Big Bear Lake? Rob, start with Rob, Al, and then we'll come back to you.
You could take this one, actually, Al. This has been bandied about for decades, is my understanding. There are a lot of different cultural challenges that would prevent this from happening. It might save money in the long run. We'd have to address that, but quite frankly, I think we should focus more on a consolidation of the fire department, where I think we'll get greater savings and more efficiency than worrying about incorporating Fawnskin, East Valley, Irwin Lake with the city at this time. That's an uphill battle politically and culturally that, frankly, I would not want to challenge at this time. We have other things to worry about.
Let's bring the mic back down to Elroy, please.
I did attend the last CSD board meeting. I think they did discuss that a little bit, my understanding, so I don't have a lot of knowledge as some of the other candidates on the platform. But to respond to the question, I would not be in favor of bringing the Big Valley, East Valley, into the Big Bear City or Big Bear Lake area. I would try to keep it separate. I think there are, like Rob said, many other issues that we need to be concerned about.
John, please.
This is a fun one. We used to have a mentality here in the valley. Why do you think they call it division? We have the East against the West against the East. I'm happy to say that that mentality has changed immensely. There's a good spirit of cooperation between the East and the West. The East End still feels like they are off the gridders, anti-government, a lot of them. There is a need to come together on bringing the fire agencies together, cooperation on water conservation, cooperation on the entire valley. I like to think of it as living in Big Bear, not living in Big Bear City, not living in Big Bear Lake. When I talk to someone, it's always, I live in Big Bear.
Al?
Gee, you took all of my worry. Well, being in the East Valley for all of these years.
Al, can you move the mic a little bit closer so people can hear you, please?
Sure. Being in the valley for so many years and seeing what we've accomplished with the JPA is sort of the beginning of a long pull. I'm probably dead and gone, and I hope they ain't no old timers in the audience with a shotgun. But I can see in the long pull where It just might not be a bad idea, or it could be one, but not at this time. And like I said, I'm glad there's no shotguns in the audience. There is a difference between the two ends, with the fire department doing what they are now, and I notice in our different water departments and sewer departments, there's a tremendous amount of respect between the two agencies and the help between the two agencies. And so I would say at this time, leave well enough alone, but in the long pull, you might be surprised where this is going.
We'll come back down to the next question. Elroy will start, please. We've heard that the increasing cost of public employees' benefits can be a threat to public agencies' budgets in the future. How would you control the cost of employee benefits to the CSD?
Again, I hate to say it, as a newcomer, I'm not privy to all of the information or the involvement in the CSD, but I can only reflect what we did in Ventura County. That I would like to see here is that we need to reduce it, put a cap into it. It's out of control. I understand employees want benefits. I worked in the private sector, and I was experiencing cuts myself, my benefits, and I think we have come to a point where we all need to face the reality that money doesn't grow on trees, and the taxpayer needs to be taken care of, and as a taxpayer, I would like to see a change on that.
John, please.
I agree, the taxpayer needs to be taken care of, but so do the employees. It's a fine balancing act. You need to look at what the costs are. You need to look at what the benefits to the employees are. We've taken some steps already. For new employees coming in, they have reduced benefits. The old employees, they still have their benefits. It's what they were told they would have. I like to honor the agreement that we made with them. And when the new employees come in, well, they know what the benefits are coming into it, and they've accepted that. And I think they have a fair package there. I'm familiar with many agencies. Like I said, I'm on labor negotiations with the county right now. So we've been doing rate studies, looking at other agencies and looking at comparable pension plans, looking at total. When we look at rate studies, we don't just look at salary, we look at the total pension package as it extends out over time.
Al, please.
I've been in business here for many, many years. One of our biggest downfalls in our family business has been the employees, not good employees. When I look out here in the audience, and the way I got this cowboy hat on, so I don't have to deal with the lights, I apologize. But employees is the key to a good business. The employees that we have at CSD are very good at what they do. I believe in supporting our employees where they need to be supported. I think they took a real whipping back a number of years ago where they worked without a contract for quite some time because we had the wrong board members. Here in recent years, we've had the right board members, and there's been a number of adjustments that's in the right direction. But without good employees, you don't have a community service district, or do you have anything else? So I am very much concerned about not taking care of employees. Maybe in other parts of it, we can eliminate certain things, but not when it comes to good employees.
Rob, please.
I believe we need to strike a balance between the interests of the taxpayers and the interests of the CSD employees and fire employees. But I also strongly believe you can't pull the financial rug out from good employees that have worked their whole lives and are counting on this money. That just wouldn't be right. I think that we should look at areas that I mentioned before in ways to cut costs: legal fees, solar, truck logistics, other areas like that, rather than trying to take it out on the employees. We have great employees, and I'll elaborate more on that when I get to my last minute roundup.
Okay, the final question, we'll start with John. Why is the Brown Act important to you as a board member?
You know, the Brown Act, when I came into it, first came into office, it was my understanding it was to be transparent in what we do. And to a certain extent it is. But I'm here to tell you, a lot of things happen that I wish I could just come out and tell everybody. When there's controversies and criticisms out in public, they have no idea what's actually happening. The best I can say is, have patience. When something controversial comes up, give it a little time and the truth will come out. When personnel matters come up, we aren't allowed to talk about them. If we have issues that borderline on illegal, we aren't allowed to talk about them. But we will deal with them, be assured.
Well, I have to agree with John. I'm not going to comment on this subject, but sometimes we just can't do what we like to do because of the rules, but then at the same time, the rules are created for a purpose. And when it comes to keeping secrecy in the back room with our employees, et cetera, we need to do that. I know in the past we've had certain board members that opened their big mouth when they came out there and created a lot of financial problems because of it. And so I'm glad that the Brown Act is in place and we need to roll along with it.
Rob, please.
The Brown Act is our law, and I will follow the law.
Oh, quickie.
All right.
Well, for me, the Brown Act is to protect not only the board, but also the taxpayer as well as the employees. So, as Rob said, we have to follow the law. It's as simple as that.
Okay, well, I'm going to read a very brief closing statement from Karen, and then each of you will have an opportunity to share some closing comments. I've lived in Big Bear City since 1971 with my husband, Brooke. We are a part of this community. This is where we call home, and it's in my interest to continue to serve the district to the best of my ability. I humbly request your vote on November the 4th. Elroy, please, your closing comments.
My wife and I just moved recently, and we're very happy with Big Bear Valley. I really like to be involved in the community, and when I found out that there was a CSD board, actually a couple blocks from where I live, the office, I went, checked it out, went on the website, did some research, and I felt that I need to continue to be involved as I was in Newberry Park. Like I said, I served for 25 years out of 28 years, and I'm not one to sit at home and just look at the walls. So I hope that you will consider me as the candidate. I have information after the meeting, if that's acceptable, my bio, my professional experience, my experience with the community. So I ask respectfully for your vote and your support on November 4th. Thank you.
John?
Thank you for your questions, and in closing, I'd like to say in the last 4 years, we've had no serious litigation. I think that's because we've been making the proper decisions. I've worked diligently to make sure you continue to have the highest level of service at the most reasonable rates in the valley. If you're kind enough to re-elect me, I will continue to do my best to serve you, my friends and neighbors, as I have for the last 4 years. Vote green.
Al?
Like I said before, I've been here since 1974. I've operated our business throughout the whole valley. If you look at my yellow signs, I think it's important that we have the knowledge and the history of the valley. The bulk of the people that I'm looking out there tonight, of course I can't see very good, but I know almost everybody. Everybody knows me in the hat and knows my basset hound that hangs out the window. I'm a strong believer and supporter of this fire department and what they've accomplished here recently. And thank you, City Councilman, thank you, CSD board members, for getting this thing as far as it's gotten. I believe we should have patience, we should continue on, but as neighbors, we're all country pumpkins up here in this valley, and I really believe that we're on the right track on both ends of the valley, and let's continue the cooperation.
Crowd, please.
I'm the postcard guy. I'm the guy that walks personally throughout the district, drops off postcards stating my position, my experience. And that's given me the chance to talk to registered voters. But more importantly, it gives me the chance to listen to the voters. And I have. And I want to get back to the CSD employees. I've talked to many, many people, probably 200, and I have not had one complaint about any of the CSD services. And that's amazing to me and something that our employees should be very proud of. I've reached about 3,000 homes, to give you some perspective, and I'll be coming out to you soon. Still time left. Also, another thought, rather than basing your vote on this 1-minute rebuttal, please look at the candidate's statement on the ballot. It's right next to the candidate's names, and that tells you what they believe in, their education, what they've experienced, and that will be a great guide in your vote. Thank you again tonight for coming out. I appreciate it.
Just a reminder, there are 3 open seats for the CSD board. Let's give these gentlemen a nice hand for being with us tonight. We will take a short break and then finish with